He's gonna game. He's gonna Viking. He's a big Viking. He thinks he's awesome.
Hey everybody, this is me, Undead Viking. I haven't done an RPG review in a while, and I apologize for that. One of my goals for this year was to do more of these, and so I'm going to really try for the rest of 2016 to kind of at least do one of these a month. But anyway, so my friends over at Frog God Games, I've been, like, if you've watched the videos and I talk about Frog God Games stuff, back before I was really even into board gaming, I was really into Necromancer games, kind of like the predecessor of Frog God Games, and I was part of their online community, and I got to know the people that ran the show, and you know, really good people, and really good conversations. And afterwards, when they created Frog God Games, I have voraciously consumed their creations afterwards, and because they're excellent, and in my opinion they are the best publisher of like role-playing game for D&D, like that game system, accessories, adventures, source books, and what have you. You know, and their quality, it just for sheer like how the books look and the quality of the books, like they are like super well made. Like I have those books and you can bash them against walls. They're like textbooks. You know, like how your old college textbooks, if you found them right now, they'd still be intact and they'd still work really well. Same thing that they, you know, and you know, basically like the vast majority of books that get the binding and everything like that aren't really made really well. But just so they care about their books and they make sure that their stuff they make will last you your entire lifetime. All that being said, if the stuff inside wasn't any good, it wouldn't be worth buying either. But as the other reviews have done, and as I've talked about before, the Frog God stuff is absolutely perfect. It's absolutely amazing, and I love it. So this is Bard's Gate. This is the Bard's Gate that I purchased many years ago, when it came out for D&D 3.5. This was a source book that was hinted at by the people at Necromancer Games, Clark Peterson and Bill Webb, repeatedly, and it just didn't come out, and it didn't come out, and it didn't come out, and it didn't come out. And I wanted it because I love city source books. I dig them. And so when I went into, and I got it finally, I read the whole thing from front to cover, and this immediately became the base city for every single one of my adventures, whether or not I was running an adventure in Necromancer Games World or my own homebrew. Now then, what makes it awesome? You know, and this is kind of weird because this is the old school one, and right now the Kickstarter is for the super expandified deluxe Bard's Gate source book made for Lost Lands. And you know, if you picked up like Rapanathuk or Lost City of Baracus, or you know, the Northlands, the big mega adventure book that just came out, any of the Lost Land source books that have recently come out, if you've taken a look and read their Quests of Doom series, if you have like their SAR, I mean TSAR is what it is, so, you know, it's like that giant mega adventure as well. You'll know that this stuff is absolutely awesome, and so I'm really excited to see what the new Bard's Gate will look like. But I'm going to show you my old school book. So, you know, I apologize that, you know, it probably won't be exactly what's going to be published, but I just want to kind of give you an idea of a small sampling of what you can look forward to when the big giant book is published. But we'll come back to that, and we'll come back here and I'll give my final thoughts after I show you what's inside this one. Alright, so here is my old school Sword and Sorcery Necromancer Games copy of Bard's Gate. I can remember the day I walked into Omni Hobby, which is a game store that no longer exists in Fargo Moorhead anymore, and I saw this on the shelf. I'd been waiting forever for this to come out. It was just kind of like this thing that was supposedly going to be published at some point. I had all of these modules for 3.0 and 3.5. that referenced Bard's Gate, and I was, you know, waiting, and finally I saw it and I snatched it up immediately. You can kind of see this obviously is a pretty cool looking cover. You know, I do dig the skull dude, you know, riding the griffin or whatever, and you know, when you think of a griffin, this kind of looks almost like, if in my mind, this kind of almost looks alien in a weird way, because of the fact that when I think of a griffin, I think of, it almost looks reptilian. And I kind of like the way that they went with the art with that, because it just, it didn't look like the normal kind of like eagle-esque creature that you would think of as far as the griffin goes. But anyway, so this is a 220-page book. I'm really not going to go too much into this, mostly because of the fact that this book is completely outdated now, of course, because they're going to have like a book that's more than twice the size of this. So you can imagine, here's the size of this book, and like so double that as far as how thick that book is, and it's going to be filled with tons and tons and tons of these awesome things that are going to be going on within this city of Bard's Gate. Now, I've read this book front to cover several times. I'm not going to go too deep into all the different people and locations and whatever. The Thieves' Quarter is like obviously a very, very awesome spot within the book because of all like this casino. I wanted to make sure I showed this, the Fortune's Fools Casino. I'm positive they're going to have the casino in there. When I ran my campaigns, my players lived at this casino pretty much. I mean, this is where all of my players went and blew all their hard-earned gold that they had earned on their adventures by going in games of chance and houses of ill repute, if you will. But as a source book, this book was perfect. It was, I based my adventures out of Bard's Gate. So when I ran Lost City of Arrakis, when I ran Rapin the Thook, when I ran A Tomb of Abasthor, all those things, it all kind of centered around this city, and this was an excellent source book for that. Now, I also then would co-opt a lot of the things that were in this city and use them for other campaigns that I did. But I mean, I didn't call it Bard's Gate then. I just kind of liberally used sections of the book as I saw fit. And that's what you should be doing with source books. I mean, if you don't want to go with the basic world, then just take the things that you want out of it and use it as you will. Now, within this book, there are a ton of plot points and adventures and ideas and things that you can do. For example, it has two separate adventures within. The Slip Gallows Abbey is a self-contained adventure within this book. And then there was also the Knoll Fortress, both which were really, really good adventures that allowed people to kind of, one, experience the city, but also served as really good tie-ins to other locations and other things that were going on with other Necromancer Games products. And that's going to be continuing to go forward in the new version when they publish the giant book, and tying it into all the different lost lands that it touches on. Now, there was one thing that I really dug, and one last thing I'm going to show you, is why is it called Bard's Gate? And that's because it is the location where the Bards College is. Now, lots of different cities, they will have thieves guilds, they will have wizard academies, they will have like fighter training areas and things like that. But this was the first time I ever played a game where specifically they had a Bard's College. The much maligned Bard, the class that nobody really wants to play. And there's a lot of people out there that love playing them, so don't get that the wrong way. But they aren't necessarily the first chosen class for a lot of people. Finally, they had a purpose, a reason, a thing, basically. A place where they would go to learn how to be a bard. And of course, because it is a Necromancer Games product, because it is now a Frog God Games product, the Bard's College has its own area of mystery and intrigue, and of course some goings-on as well, that you get to kind of investigate upon as well. And the best thing about this book is the fact that there's no railroading here. This is open sandbox. This is the players just go to the city and they're going to find their trouble, they're going to sell their stuff, they're going to spend their money at the casino and what have you. And it served as a focal point. It can serve as a focal point for any person that wants to run a D&D campaign. So there you go. Well, I just wanted to kind of just show you my old school book, just to kind of see what they produced before. And this is an amazing book, and I have nothing to warn me about, or nothing to concern me about the possibility that the next book is going to be twice as good or even better, because of the size and the scope and everything that they're cramming into it. So, all right, so let me give you my final quick thoughts, and then about Bard's Gate. All right, so I apologize. I should have showed this to you when I was showing you the book, but this is the super cool map that came with, and I use this repeatedly for when I did my campaign, and like I would just put this out on the table, and this, having a big giant city map is awesome, because it allows the players to kind of see it and to say, oh, I'm going to head, to the armory, which is over here. And then the other players can kind of mentally say, oh, I'm going to head to the magic shop, which is over here, and so forth. And if you put it out there, everybody can kind of see that and actually see, like, where they are in reference to the other players, and helps with the immersion and as far as understanding exactly what's going on in the campaign. So I apologize for not showing you that, but you should check out the giant map that they have. They've kind of posted some pictures for it, and I'm almost more excited for the map than I am for the book. So I'll just saying that out loud. But all good D&D campaigns, all good one-shot D&D campaigns, all good role-playing game, for the fantasy setting, and I guess for other settings as well, need a home base. You need a place for your people to, after they go into the dungeon, they need a place to go and blow off steam. Like I said, going to that casino. Or, they need a place that they can, just call home and not have to worry about, orcs bashing in their doors or dragons flying overhead. Though that could happen in here. But anyway, you understand what I'm saying. And when you allow the players to actually have like a home and actually a place where they stay, not only does it help with the immersion in the game, but it also makes them feel like they're a part of like something that's alive. It isn't just going into a cave and killing what's there and grabbing the loot anymore. It isn't about figuring out whether or not the spies are working for the evil wizard, or maybe they're actually working for the king, or maybe they're working for the dubious queen that you have suspicions of, or all those things. Like all the intrigues, all the storylines you have, those are all great. But you do need downtime. You not only do you need to decompress, but when you actually think about your players and you think of like the PCs actually like being able to decompress, being able to just not be adventurers for a little while. It gives them life. It gives them something to sink your teeth in, sink your fingers in, and kind of mold that clay and create that character again. And when you can populate that world with realistic locations, realistic NPCs, and realistic day-to-day life, the players, not only are they just, it isn't just going to the armory anymore. You start to know that character, the dwarven smith by name, and you get to, and then your character fosters that relationship with. And I've had situations where, and fairly recently actually, where NPCs have died, and maybe because I just wanted them to die, it was good for the story, but the players were visibly upset that like this icon that was within, that had been there from the very beginning, and had been helpful and had been, maybe not always helpful, but at least they'd been like a good thorn in their side, or in kind of thing. When they're gone and they're not able to actually have that interaction anymore, they feel like they've lost something. And that same goes for when you can have a living, breathing city and something that people can be in. You can foster those relationships. You can foster that sense of being there that I think is really necessary in campaigns. And what better way to do it? I mean, making a giant city and populating it with 100 NPCs and fleshing out 200 different shop locations and making small adventures within those cities and surrounding the countryside, all the different places that they can go, and the trouble they can get into. When somebody else does all the work for you and allows you to purchase that and have it in front of you and be able to put those players, bam, we're ready to go. It's kind of a no-brainer for me. And that's why, I pretty much buy everything that Frog God Games comes out with, and why I am super excited to have this Metropolis again, this Bard's Gate again. So for my next campaign, when I start that one, I can start them off right away from the beginning in there, and they're good to go. So there you go. There's so much more you can learn about this by going to the Kickstarter page. I challenge you to do so. You can go to the Frog God Games website as well. If you have any questions at all about it, I'll be happy to answer those. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Until next time, I'm Dead Viking. I'm telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.